much. Right, so my name's Ming. What I'm going to talk about tonight is making use of data visualization for software development. So a little bit about me. I'm a software front-end architect working at Pan Intelligence, and I've been doing web front-end development for about 7-8 years. At the moment, I'm responsible for re-engineering our dashboard, which is our product. So yeah, what we do is creating dashboards, and then basically dashboard is grouping charts data visualization to present information. So our company mission is enabling better decisions. So having a dashboard is one way of enabling better decisions. So we've got our core values as well: innovative, open, supportive. Okay. So our boss like supportive being the first, but yeah, it's just easier to remember iOS. Although I like Android more, but yeah, we're not going to go into that sort of debate. So here are the Twitter accounts, okay? So why do we do Agile and why do we go with Lean then? Well, basically, it shortens the development cycle and we get quicker feedback. And also the benefit is incrementally we can learn to minimize the risk of making wrong decisions. Okay, so how do we learn then? Well, a very consistent way to learn is to learn from data. So when we do Agile or when we do Lean Startup and so on, we've got task estimation, we've got audit data, timesheet application data, and so on. So we've got lots of data, but are we making good usage of the data then? So the purpose of this talk is to talk about how we can make good use of data visualization for software development, and then how we can improve data visualization as well. Okay. So this is the agenda. I'm going to talk about what's data visualization, why we do it, and then show some examples as well. And then I'm going to talk about how to improve that, like colors and some other enhancements, because those are more visual, easier to understand. Okay. So what is data visualization then? So that's data. That's data visualization. Simple as that. Yeah. Try to not complicate things. Okay. So why do we do that then? So imagine we want to find out number of sales calls by date. So we might run a bit of SQL. We might write this bit of SQL to get the result. I'm not going to dive into the SQL, but yeah, this is probably the output of the result. You might notice it's got 314 rows over there. Yeah. So we'll see the data. It's actually quite hard to fit the data into a small space. That's where data visualization becomes really useful. You can actually put all of that into a small space. And then basically this whole lot is just represented over there, okay? So the benefit is you can see the pattern now. So you might start wondering, oh, that seems to be quite low, and then the next one to be is actually quite high, and then low again, high again. So then you start having questions about why is it like this? So at the time you have questions, it just means you have new requirements. You already understand the data a little bit more than just looking at the data like this, okay? So that's the benefit of having data visualization. And also, with some BI tools, you can actually drill down the information to show that particular part. Because earlier, when you look at that, you might say, okay, that doesn't have 314 items over there, okay? So yeah, with some tools, you can do some zoom in or whatever you like to call it, okay? The other thing is, when you look at that, you might start wondering, okay, so how many of them are lower than 50 then? Then again, it's new requirements. So anytime it gives you those kind of questions or whatever, it just means the data visualization is already contributing to whatever you want to learn, okay? So that's the first benefit. Okay, so it shows the overall patterns, and then it drives new requirements as well. Okay, the next one is it helps you to slowly digest the information. If you look at this map, at this particular level, you probably don't want to see the street names, but at this particular level, you probably want to see the street names, and it's got some pubs as well. Okay, so some people quite like pubs, so Google just suggests them. Okay, but can you imagine the data in here is probably going to be really complicated, okay? So in here, what we're trying to say is, basically it helps you to slowly digest the information rather than giving all the street names at the very beginning, because at the time, when you look at that map, you don't need the street names, okay? Another benefit is it can help you to navigate the information step by step. So, for example, if you've got a chart like that, it's got north and south, and then with some BI tools, lots of BI tools support this sort of behavior. So when you click on north, it gives you different cities, and then when you choose a particular city, it gives you different salespeople, for example. And then when you choose that particular person, it shows the I don't know, sales calls or whatever related to that particular person. So you interact with the system to understand the information step by step. It doesn't overwhelm you with all the information at the very beginning. So that's the benefit, okay? So imagine if you need to, if we take back one step earlier, we were saying each chart is actually a representation of a bit of SQL. So imagine if you try to write SQL to get this sort of results, you'll be concentrating on getting the SQL right rather than trying to understand the information, okay? So another example in here is with some BI tools, you can actually group different charts together. So again, each chart is a representation of a bit of SQL. So now what you can do is grouping the related SQL result together so that you've got more context to understand the information. I'm going to give you some examples later. Yeah. So a small summary in here. Data visualization allows to show the overall pattern, and then helps you to have more requirements to understand the information, take a further step, okay? So it also helps you to digest the information step by step, and it groups the related information together, okay? So I'm going to show you some examples. So data visualization only matters when it shows the information that is relevant to the users. So what do we care about in here then? Okay, we care about software development. Right. So in our company, we've got this chart in our system. So that's the sprint burn down. So when we do software development, we've got 20 days. That's on the x-axis for each development cycle. So we call that a sprint in our company. Okay. So then we've got 250 points. That's a particular sprint. We say we need to finish those 250 points in this particular sprint. Okay. So we've got so many different tasks. Some tasks, they've got 13 points if it's complicated. Some tasks are really simple, so we just say it's only 2 or 3 points. But 250 is the target. And then we need to take it down to 0 to achieve the target at the very end of the sprint. So as you can see in here, the expectation is going down to 0, while in reality, we didn't achieve the target. That's not a problem. It just means in the, what's it called, like retrospective of the sprint, we just say, okay, next time we're going to set the target to 200 because that's actually what we can achieve, okay? So then we can just, based on the information of the chart to understand what we can improve, okay? But, just bear with me for a second, okay? So, but our boss doesn't actually care about this. What he says is 20 days doesn't seem to be a sprint, okay? It seems to be slow motion, okay? So that's why, well, it's actually quite easy for us to talk to our boss, say we need to improve this part of the process. Anybody from test people in here? No? I thought there were, but anyway, yeah, we engage the test people to improve our software development process, to improve the release cycle as well, okay? So apart from that one, we also put these two charts together with that chart. So the one on the top is points completed by developers. The one below is tasks completed by developers. So we've got 4 developers over there. We've got Ken, Ming, Steve, and Tiago, okay? So that Ken seems to be a star, so he always does it really well. And then Ming doesn't seem to do a good job, okay? And then you look at those other 2, Steve completing more points, while Tiago completing more tasks. What does that mean then? It means Steve completing more complicated tasks, okay? But again, our boss doesn't care about those two people. He only cares about these two. Yeah, he's just wondering why Ken is a star and why Ming is not doing so well. Okay, so then Mike, the boss, there you go. Yeah, he wants to talk to Ken and Ming. What Ken says is, I just like to work. I don't need to sleep. What Ming says is, I just like to sleep. I don't want to work. Yeah. Well, in reality, Ming's taken 3 weeks on holidays at the beach, checking out some elephants. Okay. So then our boss says, okay, sounds like we've got some new requirements now. I want to know the working days of these people alongside with those other charts, because otherwise I need to keep asking this question every single time when I look at those three charts. That's where the grouping information becomes really useful, okay? And Mike also says, okay, I don't like SQL, so don't show me the SQL. I just want to see some charts. Okay then, right, just work harder. Yeah, so another example is with data visualization, we can actually check the usage of our system, okay? So for example, this is, so it's the usage of our system. The one in the middle is we check our customers to see what sort of charts they use the most, okay? Seems like people just like table, okay? And then the next one is pie charts. Okay, so imagine the table is actually running a bit of SQL, so it's kind of like a view in the database. So it just shows the result of a bit of SQL rather than showing you the whole data, the whole table. So that's all of our customers. And then when we look at one particular customer, this particular customer, they actually use pie charts a lot. So what we can do now is engaging with our customers, saying, we seem to see other people like table a lot, while you actually use pie chart a lot. Why? Why is that then? Is there anything we can do to improve your presentation of pie chart or whatever? Are you actually using pie chart really well? Do you follow some good practices and so on? So it actually gives us a good opportunity to engage with our customers. Okay. So anything that drives us to take some actions is actually really beneficial. So yeah, that's where the sportive and open becomes really what we do. So we try to be really open to share our knowledge, and then we try to be sportive so that we help our customers to create better charts so that they make decisions easier. Okay. So yeah, as a small summary in here, we can use data visualization to track development and then track feature usage as well. Okay, so ultimately, it's just helping us to learn from data and help us to make better decisions. Okay. So how do we improve data visualization then? So I'm going to start talking about colors. Okay. So I took this photo at home. I noticed it's got a bit of red and a bit of yellow over there. What does that mean then? It means if you keep pulling, you might just break it, okay? And then also the same principle is applied to here. So red generally means danger, orange, amber means warning, green seems to be happy, okay? Yeah, so these are all very bright colors. So generally people use bright colors to draw people's attention, okay? So we can use that for charts as well. And then if you look at this example in here, you might notice anything below 0 is red. So you might start thinking, okay, anything below 0 is red then. But if you put the same, if you put this chart into the same dashboard or put them together, use whatever tool you use, then you might start wondering, okay, what does the orange mean then? Because that orange is actually quite similar to that red. Yeah. So the suggestion in here is it's better to have some consistency. If you are saying, okay, orange is always going to be representing warning, red is going to be representing danger, then when people look at that, they'll say, okay, that's not got to the point that it's danger, so we're fine. Yeah, so it should be okay. Yeah. So the suggestion, is just try to have some consistencies, okay, for the whole application. So another example in here is if you look at this chart, is it easy to tell which part of the information is important? Probably not that obvious. And how about this one then? And how about that one then? So let's try to explain what we have in here. So the exception part of the information is using bright color. And then the regular part, first chart is using dark color, second one using bright color, third one using muted color. So when you use muted color to represent the part that is less important, then the important part actually stand out, okay? So as a small summary, it's better to use the same color to represent the same meaning. And also we want to use bright color to represent exceptions and muted color to represent regular information. So these principles, you can apply it to whatever tool you use. Some people, they use Excel or whatever, yeah. But yeah, just bear those principles in mind. It just helps you to create charts in a better way, easier to understand, okay? So that's about colors, and then also we can make some other enhancements as well. So if you look at this chart, it's easy to tell whether 2014 is doing well or not. Then you might say, okay, June doesn't seem to be really well, okay? Well, when you look at this one, it's got 2013 as well. So with some comparison, you might notice, okay, June is actually better than the previous year. So June in general is probably just a bad month. So November is not as good as the previous year. So it just means, yeah, by having another line in here with some comparison, you can just understand the information probably in a slightly different way, okay? So yeah, it just gives you more context. And then if you look at this chart, that doesn't have any order. That one has alphabetical order. That one's got ranking order, okay? So it's better to have some ordering rather than not having anything. With alphabetical order, you can find the information easier. With ranking order, it just shows you the ranking, okay? Another example in here, if you look at these two lines, they look quite different. The second one seems to be slightly more flat. But when you add the axes to the two line charts, you might notice actually they are representing the same data, okay? Same as these two charts, they are representing the same data, but they look quite different, okay? Do you even notice the two starting points are different? So these are the things that keep people probably quite confused, okay? So imagine we've got option 1 like this, option 2 like this. So option 1, the scales, the axes, they are quite different, and then the data is also different. The second option, yeah, they've got the same scale but different data. So when you look at the first option, yeah, it's actually quite confusing. The second one, well, it's easier for you to compare the information, okay? So as a summary in here, comparison provides you a little bit more context, ordering adds meaning, and then consistent axes or scales. It just reduces misunderstanding, okay? So as a conclusion in here, we can use data visualization to help us to understand the data in a much better way. And then, yeah, improve understanding. We can just make some changes to colors and then make some enhancements related to comparison, ordering, and having consistent scales as well. Yeah, so with some improvements, we can make good uses of data visualization to try to learn from the data in a better way to help us to do software development, okay? So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much.